Ishimori is a good-for-nothing loser who is constantly bullied by her classmates. But one day, she meets the most handsome boy in the entire school, a guy with lemon-colored hair. On the first day of class, some boys try to mess with Kai because he's too good-looking and draws too much attention. But instead of letting them get to him, he throws his lemon soda at them. The problem? It ends up spilling all over Ishimori. However, she doesn't mind because, for the first time, someone is actually acknowledging her. Kai apologizes, though only halfway. And since he won't stop staring at her, Ishimori runs away. Our girl hasn't had the best experiences in her school life. Back in middle school, they used to call her Stone because it was as if she wasn't even there, nobody noticed her. But now that she's in high school, she has made it her goal to live a happier life and finally make some friends. In class, the teacher scolds both Ishimori and Kai for not wearing their uniforms. Kai, however, speaks up and says that soda spilled on both of them, even though that's not entirely true. He saved her. Though Kai doesn't know Ishimori, she knows him, because one winter night, she saw him passing by and has never forgotten his lemon-colored hair. When she gets home, her parents tell her that she can bring her friends over anytime. The problem is, she doesn't have any. Ishimori's parents are a bit overprotective because of everything she has been through, and she knows this has only hurt her more. She understands that she has to act for herself. The next day, she arrives at school, practicing how to say good morning. It's embarrassing, but when the lemon-haired boy shows up and greets her first, she feels genuinely happy. During class, Ishimori notices that Ayumi doesn't understand a thing, so she decides to help her. After all, Ayumi was kind to her once. Thanks to this, the entire class recognizes Ishimori for how smart she is. She's ready to return to her lonely, boring life, but Ayumi invites her to join her and her friends. Ishimori says yes. Then, the school's group of idiots arrives. When they see Ishimori, they mock her, calling her Stone and saying she's a useless girl who never stands up for herself. This makes Ishimori run away, but Lemonhead Kai sees everything. That's why he goes looking for her and finds her in the library, staring at her notebook, where she has written, "Subscribe to the channel." Meanwhile, the witches of the school throw Ishimori's shoes in the trash. She doesn't react, thinking it's better to avoid trouble and continue being Stone. But Kai sees this and tells her to stand up for herself, to ask for help. She looks at him and asks, "Who am I supposed to ask for help?" before running away, remembering why she enrolled in this high school in the first place. She came here for Kai. The truth is, Ishimori could have gotten into a prestigious high school, but that night, she ran into the classmates who always bullied her, and they mocked her as usual. That was when she made up her mind to transfer to another school. But that same night, she met Kai. The boy approached her and asked if she was okay, and on top of that, he mentioned which school he was going to. Since this was the first time a boy had ever interacted with her, she fell in love and decided to enroll in the same school as Kai, even though it was much worse than the others. Would you have done the same? Ishimori gathers her courage, walks to the store, and buys a lemon soda. The next day, when they start bullying her again, Ishimori throws her entire soda at them. This makes them furious, and they push her to the ground. But Kai and his friends are there. They ask her if she's okay and tell her that all she needs to do is ask. She doesn't quite understand what the blonde means, but then she remembers. He told her to ask for help. In a totally not cringy scene, she slowly spells out the words, "I need your help." Now, Kai turns to everyone and declares that if anyone messes with Ishimori, they'll have to deal with him and all his friends. The cowards immediately run away. The next day, Ishimori isn't sure if what happened was real or just a dream. But when she arrives at school and greets Kai, he responds, along with all his friends. However, during PE class, she goes back to being a Stone, unnoticed by everyone. Kai notices this and whispers to Ayumi, telling her to pass the ball to Ishimori. Ayumi hesitates but decides to do it. The moment Ishimori gets the ball, she transforms into LeBron James. All the girls cheer for her, and Ayumi tells her that it was Kai who asked her to pass the ball. Meanwhile, Kai notices something outside. The principal is talking to Ishimori's father, who has come to the school to discuss his daughter. Kai instantly realizes that this is a problem. Later, in class, Ayumi asks Ishimori why she chose this high school. Ishimori replies that she thought it seemed fun. Completely the opposite of what she does. That's why she wants to enjoy herself, break out of her comfort zone, and have fun with her friends. Strangely, after hearing this, Kai tells her to give up, that she's never going to do any of that. Then he walks away with a group of girls, leaving Ishimori deep in thought. Ayumi calls him out for being a jerk and tells him he should apologize. But Kai just says it's a hassle. For a moment, Ishimori almost agrees. She wonders if some dreams just aren't meant to come true, and maybe being happy at school is one of them. What she doesn't know is that the group of bullies has hired 2 thugs to hurt her. But what they don't know is that Kai and his group overheard everything. Without hesitation, Kai rushes to the classroom to protect Ishimori. But maybe he's too late. The thugs have already arrived. Ishimori hides, but they quickly find her, grab her hand, and tell her she's going to pay for what she did. She doesn't know what to do, but one thing crosses her mind. The only thing she can't do is nothing. She screams for Kai. Lemonhead arrives just in time, thinking he's in Tokyo Revengers, and with ease, he sends the thugs and the bullies running home. Once the dust settles, Kai smirks and tells her that if her father had seen this, he probably would have fainted. That's when Ishimori realizes Kai only said those harsh things to protect her. Then, Kai remembers that this is actually a romance anime. With a gaze that could make anyone fall for him, he tells Ishimori that her dreams are too small and that he will make sure they come true. Ishimori can only think about how much has happened. Dreaming doesn't seem so difficult anymore, and it's all thanks to Kai. She finally admits to herself she is deeply in love with him. But things won't be easy. Social situations aren't exactly her strong suit. She knows nothing about love or friendships. Still, she can't deny her feelings for the blonde boy. And now that she's in love, she starts noticing these things in others too, like Ayumi and Sito, who clearly have great chemistry. But when Kai looks at her, he seems mad for some reason. So, she decides to give him some space. What she doesn't realize is that the moment she leaves and Kai can't see her anymore, he starts worrying about her. Ishimori wonders if she should try looks-maxing to make Kai like her. But before she can think too much about it, some old classmates recognize her and start mocking her again, calling her stone just like before. After that, Kai finds Ishimori and tells her he is mad because she left without them. Ishimori tells him to make up his mind whether he wants to be near her or not. Kai tells her that she is with them and that she shouldn't forget what he told her. With that, Ishimori understands that he wants her to be with them. But her mind won't stop overthinking, thinking that maybe he is embarrassed to be seen with her, and once again, she freezes like a stone. Kai notices this and tells her again to move, not to stay still, and they both look like parents about to get divorced. Musa tells them that he doesn't know whether they get along or not. Then both of them ask if they can walk her home, and she tells them not to bother, but she asks where they were going. And when they tell her that the others are waiting for them at the karaoke, she says she will walk with them to the entrance and leave after that. Kai tells her that's fine, but at least he will walk with her part of the way home, and Musa stays behind so the two can talk alone. As they walk, Ishimori can only think about how she is with the boy she likes, but suddenly, Kai asks how she sees herself. Ishimori hesitates and says that she thinks she is a stone. This makes Kai upset because, once again, she is being indecisive, never choosing anything for herself, just doing what others tell her to do, not realizing her true potential. If she really set her mind to something, she would be the best. She hides too many things, even from herself. That time they met was just a stepping stone for her to change. If she wants to be a stone, she should be a precious one. Ishimori can only cry after hearing this, and now, the nickname that once hurt her suddenly feels special. She promises Kai that she will no longer be a burden to him. Kai likes this, but he tells her to stop crying because people might think he made her cry and that he would get cancelled on X. The blonde boy hands her his cap and tells her that he will see her tomorrow. Ishimori knows what she has to do. She must start changing, become braver and have more confidence, and now she has a new dream: to have enough confidence to tell Kai that she is in love with him. When she wakes up, she is excited about what could happen, and fate, or rather the plot, is on her side because the teacher announces that there will be a seating lottery. Remembering what Kai told her about being braver, Ishimori tells Ayumi to be her friend, but Ayumi tells her that she already thought they were friends. However, she realizes that Ishimori needs things to be clearly stated, so she takes her hand and tells her that they are friends. During the lottery, Ayumi realizes that she is too far away from Sito, but Ishimori is right next to him, so she tells her friend to switch seats. Ayumi is unsure because she insists that she doesn't like Sito, but she still wants to try. On the other hand, Ishimori ends up next to Musa and Kai, which makes her happier because she is sitting with her friends, but it also makes her nervous because now she worries about how she looks, and she realizes something: she doesn't know anything about Kai, not what kind of girls he likes or what he likes in general. The good thing is that, thanks to the support of her friends, the other classmates begin to get to know Ishimori, and despite what she thought, most of them are actually very friendly. Kai tells her that he is giving her a challenge to make 100 friends by the end of the year, and Ishimori tells him that she will do it. Later, Ishimori wants to return Kai's cap but realizes he's nowhere to be found. She decides to look for him, and when she spots a lemon soda, she knows he must be nearby. She enters a room and finds him asleep. The blonde is surprised because it's the first time someone has discovered his hideout. But Ishimori tells him she found him because of the soda. She hands him the cap, and just as she's about to leave, Kai tells her to stay because he wants her to wake him up after his nap. As she watches him sleep, Ishimori wonders who Kai really is and why he always wears a cap. But the boy seems to read her mind and responds that he's had rebellious hair for a long time and got used to always wearing a cap. As he says this, the lemon-headed boy blushes for the first time, and Ishimori can't help but feel excited because she's never seen him like this before. It makes her feel even closer to him. When she steps outside, two boys are waiting for Kai and ask where he was. But when they see Ishimori with him, they direct the question at her instead. Kai places his hand on her back and tells her to keep his secret. Ishimori feels like wings are sprouting from her back, and she realizes she's falling more and more in love with him. A few days later, the school excursion begins, and as usual, Ishimori is the only one wearing the uniform properly. The girls mention a part of the forest where the trees intertwine to form the shape of a heart, and if you make a wish there, it might come true. As they walk, Ishimori feels happy because this time, she's talking more with her classmates, unlike in the past when everyone just walked past her without even noticing she was there. However, something makes her jealous since the blonde is a total ladies' man. Most of the girls have a thing for him. When one of them is about to fall, Kai catches her, but in the process, he loses his cap. The girl tries to return it, but he tells her to keep it. The others comment that Kai has tons of caps because he started wearing them a long time ago, but no one knows why. Ishimori is about to reveal the reason, but Kai covers her mouth and tells her that's a secret only she knows. Ishimori realizes that Kai trusted her with something he hasn't told anyone else, which makes her even more excited. That excitement disappears instantly when the others mention that Kai has already been in that forest with someone, an ex-girlfriend. Ishimori thinks it makes sense. There was no way Kai had never dated anyone before, and what he told her about his hair must be something trivial. Later, the class has to choose a path. A girl tries to make Ishimori look bad and asks her to decide. Our protagonist does, but the path becomes increasingly steep. And to make matters worse, it starts raining. Ishimori tells them she's sorry, but they're lost. Everyone wonders how this happened since they were following the signs. It's as if someone switched them. But since it sounds illogical, some start blaming Ishimori. Ayumi defends her, saying she was just following the map. But Ishimori feels like it really is her fault. This time, she won't just stand still and do nothing. She runs off to find another path, and since the lemon-headed boy doesn't want to leave her alone, he follows her. The girl feels like she has ruined everything and wonders what will happen now, but Kai does something completely out of character. He hugs her and tells her everything will be okay. You might think the girl hugs him back, but no. Ishimori throws him to the ground because she spots a bridge that's on the map. Kai quickly gets up and rushes to inform everyone else. While they are under the bridge, one of the girls who blamed Ishimori apologizes to her. And since our girl is an angel, she tells her not to worry and even pulls out dry blankets for everyone. Finally, they all realize what an amazing person she is. Kai also approaches her and tells her she must be tired and should drink something. He hands her his precious lemon soda, and Ishimori remembers how she once thought it was impossible for her to fall in love because she always kept her head down. But now, it's happening. At the same time, one of the boys calls everyone over because he just found the heart-shaped trees. On the way home, Kai sits next to Ishimori, saying the others are too noisy. Then, he leans his head on her shoulder and tells her not to scream. For the first time, Ishimori truly feels all the emotions she has been suppressing for years. But once again, she tries to self-sabotage, telling herself that this will all end eventually. But come on, girl, not everything has to be bad. In fact, the next day, when she arrives at the classroom, she finds her desk full of things, not bad things, but gifts from her classmates as a thank you for what she did in the forest. One of the girls tells her that the photo she uploaded of the heart-shaped trees has already reached 300 likes. Another girl shows a picture of a boy, and everyone asks who it is. They're all shocked when she tells them it's Kai. The girls then decide that the next day, they should all bring their yearbooks to see what everyone looked like in middle school. For a moment, Ishimori hesitates should she bring hers or not. After all, she has nothing to show. But she knows that in order to move forward, she has to do it. So, she goes home and searches through her things until she finds her yearbook. When she sees her photo, she's relieved. It's not as bad as she thought. The next day, she brings it, but when she sees the other girls' photos, pictures from festivals, excursions, she realizes she only has one sad little picture. She decides she won't show it to the others after all. Besides, in the pictures, there's a really beautiful girl we should definitely pay attention to. Ishimori heads to the rooftop, thinking about how expensive a Big Mac is nowadays. That's when Kai shows up, snatches the yearbook from her hands, and asks her what class she was in. When he finds the picture of the girl, he tells her not to be ridiculous. It's just a normal photo, nothing to be ashamed of. Thanks to her past self, she has become who she is today, and she shouldn't forget all the love she's receiving from everyone now. With these words, Ishimori decides that she will show the picture to the others herself. Kai gives her a piece of candy as a sign that she's doing things right. When Ishimori enters the classroom, she finds Tomoya and a girl. The girl says she's there to apologize. She was the one who changed the signs during the excursion. It was all because she was jealous of how close Ishimori was to Kai, but now she realizes it was a dumb thing to do and regrets it. Ishimori tells her it's okay, but then Tomoya gets weird. He tells her she has changed, and that it's thanks to Kai. But also, everything that's happening to her is because of him. Does she really feel different, or is she just fooling herself? Maybe being with Kai isn't the best option for either of them because they'll only bring each other trouble. Is it really a good idea for her to stay by his side? Ishimori doesn't know how to feel. Those words have left her completely shaken. And it only gets worse when she finds out that the beautiful girl the others were admiring in the photos is actually Kai's ex. Even though she's in the same classroom as Kai, sharing the same space, she realizes that the distance between them is enormous. She feels so bad that she ends up getting sick. But there's some good news. While her mom is taking care of her, she tells her that a friend is calling. Ishimori expects to hear Ayumi's voice, but the first person who wants to talk to her is Kai. The boy asks how she's doing, and since she wasn't expecting him to be the one on the phone, she's caught off guard. But at the same time, she's happy that he cares about her, not just because the others are checking in, but because he genuinely wants to know how she is. Even the black-haired guy does. This motivates Ishimori to continue with her goal of changing. She gets even more motivated when she sees that in the excursion photos, she actually looks decent. But the best part, in the pictures with Kai, he looks happy too. Even when his friends show him the photo, he casually says that Ishimori looks cute when she smiles. But you can see it in his face, he's planning something. And of course, not everything can be good. Just when things seem to be going well, Ishimori manages to catch a phone that was about to fall. But when she looks at the screen, she sees a picture of Kai, and the owner of the phone, Kai's ex. That will have to wait for later, though, because now it's time for the school festival. But first, exams. Ayumi comments that she's not very good at math and will probably fail. Ishimori offers to lend her notes and even suggests studying together. Ayumi doesn't hesitate for a second, and that afternoon, they all gather to study. What Ishimori didn't expect was that Kai would come too, and since Ayumi already knows that Ishimori likes the blonde, she does everything she can to leave them alone together. But none of them expected Kai's ex to show up with her friends. Her name is Serena, and she actually seems like a nice person. But her friends, not so much. As soon as they see Kai, they start asking why he broke up with Serena. Then, they turn to Ishimori and start questioning who she is and why Kai is hanging out with a useless, stone-faced nobody. They mock her even more when she mentions that she has to be home by 5. Kai can't take it anymore, he's ready to pour his drink all over them. But before he can, Serena beats him to it. She tells her so-called friends to shut up and stop being so rude to Ishimori. Then, she apologizes to Ishimori and promises it won't happen again. Ishimori thinks that even though she doesn't know Serena well, she reminds her of Kai. But things don't end there. The next day, the same girls who bullied Ishimori get back at Serena. She doesn't care, though. She simply tells them that all 3 of them are awful people. One of the girls gets angry and raises her hand to slap her. But just then, Ishimori steps in front of her. Summoning all her courage, she faces them head-on. The girls are left speechless. Kai arrives and tells them that Ishimori just made them look ridiculous, so they'd better leave. It seems like a victory for Ishimori, but it doesn't feel like one. Because right after, Kai takes off his jacket and gives it to Serena. She follows him, saying she doesn't need his help. And when Ishimori watches them together, she realizes the truth, they're perfect for each other. On the day of the festival, Ishimori is with Ayumi watching everyone else, and after a while Kai arrives and Serena too. Oh, and the girls apologize to Ishimori. In the classroom, one of the girls thinks it would be a good idea for Ishimori to style her hair in a ponytail, and it's true because the girl looks good. Everyone tells her she looks beautiful, and Kai tells her that it seems like she no longer needs him to make friends. But since Ishimori doesn't have much self-esteem and takes things badly, she thinks that maybe Kai was telling her to stay away from him. When will you learn, girl? And it doesn't help that Ishimori overhears other guys asking Kai why he broke up with Serena. Again, the girl thinks she can't be liked by Kai, but the boy takes her by the arm and tells her he's sleepy. The two go to the storage room, and Kai tells her to wake him up when classes start. The girl thinks he only sees her as an alarm clock, but Kai mentions if it's the first time someone has slapped her. She says yes, and he touches her cheek telling her it's swollen. And not only does Ishimori blush, but Kai does too. Now when our girl is about to go to her classroom, she meets Serena and her friends who are looking for Kai. When they leave, Serena tells her that he's surely sleeping in the storage room. Serena tells her that in the past, he told her where he slept. Ishimori understands that the same thing is happening with her, except that he didn't tell her directly, but she found him. She can't compare herself to Serena, and that self-deprecation she has pushes others away. Maybe she's not changing like she thought. Before she can continue thinking about her miserable life, other guys arrive with Serena's phone and ask her why she has a photo of Kai. At that moment, he arrives, and they mention the photo to him and tell him to date Serena again, but he doesn't pay much attention. The other guys ask him what Ishimori is like, and he says that she undervalues herself, puts pressure on herself, is stubborn, lacks confidence, but is kind, gentle, sincere, attentive, and brave. The girl is left with her mouth open upon hearing him say this, and even more when Kai tells the girl who styled Ishimori's hair to do it again because he likes how she looks. Our girl falls to the ground and finally realizes something. Her romance with Kai is not impossible, she just has to be brave. She has to be brave to love, to know that she not only has to try but also do more things outside her comfort zone. And that's why when the teacher asks who wants to be the festival leader, Ishimori raises her hand and says she will do it. Everyone is excited, but they wonder if she can handle the pressure, and since Kai is her caretaker, they ask him what he thinks. He asks her if she won't give up halfway through, and she tells him no. So Ishimori is now the president. Things won't be easy because they decided to do a cafe. Ishimori feels a little insecure about that, but she can't back down, so she makes a plan. Everyone else follows her, and they're making it happen. The day of the festival arrives and everything goes better than expected. The classroom is full of people, so many that Ishimori has to put on the uniform and wait tables too. Our girl ends up extremely tired, and the others tell her to take a break. When she does, she says something nice. She's alone at that moment, but doesn't feel lonely. At that moment, she sees several people gathering to watch a kind of series that some students have made to attract more people to the festival. This guy appears there, Serena, and of course Kai. But when he says his line, he says to leave Ishimori to him. She doesn't know what that means, but it makes her feel good. The problem is that the other girls find her and start asking what she is to Kai. Although the girls understand that in reality Kai is just protecting her, he feels responsible for her, but will leave her when she can stand on her own. This leaves Ishimori thinking. She goes to the storage room and only thinks about when Kai will leave her. But the boy arrives and asks her what she's doing dressed like that. Kai sits down and tells her that now everyone calls him Ishimori's guardian because of the video. Our girl stands up and tells him that it doesn't matter and that from now on she will talk to him, no matter the situation. While she's saying this, some girls say that Ishimori has no chance of dating Kai, and when he hears them, he doesn't hesitate to take Ishimori's hand and leave with her so that the other girls see them together. Remember Tomoya? Well, he asks Kai if he will continue with Ishimori to protect her and get her used to him always being there for her, or if he will let her fly and become someone independent. Kai tells him that the problem isn't as big as he sees it, but Tomoya tells him to think carefully about what he will do. Now Serena refuses to participate in the contest to find couples, but since Ishimori overhears her, she offers to substitute for her so the others will look more handsome compared to her. The girl is nervous because it's not something she's used to, and it doesn't help that the host is a jerk. But her blue prince comes to save her. Kai covers the guy's mouth and tells Ishimori that she shouldn't be there. The girl starts crying again and tells him that she doesn't need him for everything, but wants him to be there, and all this in front of everyone. Later, Kai tells Tomoya that he has changed his mind, and we also realize that Tomoya actually liked Ishimori, and that's why he wanted to separate them. The best part is that thanks to Ishimori, their classroom manages to be the best at the festival. Days later, the kids go to karaoke, but since Ishimori has to get home early, she tells them to have fun and leaves. But on the way, Kai accompanies her and tells her that there's still time for them to go to the arcade. Ishimori says that Kai has been behaving differently with her these days, but she shouldn't get her hopes up. The next day, some girls call Serena because one of the girls' boyfriends thinks she's pretty and they want her to apologize. Serena knows that sounds stupid and tells them to go to hell, but one of the girls gets serious. Although the others manage to arrive in time, Kai is willing to fight for her, and Serena tells him it's okay. But the blonde tells her that he knows it's not true because he knows her, and goes to find the boyfriend of the girl with the problem. Now that the girls are alone, Serena tells them how she met Kai. As far as she can remember, she's been popular, and until her first year of middle school, everything was great. But then in the second year, things changed because the other girls started to get jealous of her and began to bully her. She was left with no one, and that's when Kai arrived. The boy didn't care who she was, and they quickly became friends. But Serena realized that Kai was distancing himself from others just to be with her. One day she told him this, but instead of saying something, he kissed her. For Serena, as long as Kai was there, nothing else mattered. The real problem was when he wasn't around because others would take advantage to bother her and make her life impossible. That's when she realized how dependent she was on the blonde boy, and that was the reason they broke up. She couldn't drag him down with her. Ishimori asks Serena if she still likes Kai, and with tears in her eyes, she says no, not at all. But everyone knows that's a lie. As Serena realizes that Ishimori likes Kai, she apologizes to her and tells her that she and Kai aren't together, so she should try. But since our girl still hasn't learned to validate her own feelings, she tells Serena that she likes Kai but in a friendly and respectful way, so if she wants, she can get back together with Kai. To make matters worse, vacation begins, which means Ishimori won't see Kai. Our girl only thinks about how well Kai and Serena will get along at the festival while she's alone at home. But someone knocks on the door and it's Ayumi. The girl tells her she wants Ishimori to go with her to the festival, and the protagonist accepts. But what she doesn't realize is that Kai had arrived later to ask her the same thing. At the festival, Ayumi tells her that they're both alone and the boys they like aren't there, so they have all night to talk about love. Ishimori thinks that's fine, but then she sees Serena arrive, although to her surprise, without Kai. She hears Serena say that Kai wouldn't want to go with her when he has Ishimori. And since the girl has no emotional intelligence and only sometimes has self-love, like some of us, Ishimori tells herself that she's just a burden to others. She should just limit herself to seeing happiness in others, but not in herself. That way, she won't hurt anyone. However, seeing Kai among all the people makes the protagonist run away. The boy follows her and asks why she ran and, more importantly, why she's crying. Ishimori tells him they're tears of joy and that he should leave. But the blonde takes her hand and tells her to at least let him walk her home. The girl asks him to please let go of her hand, but Kai responds that if that's what she wants, she can do it herself. He wants to see her during vacation. He doesn't want to wait until they return to school. He went to ask her to come to the festival together, but Ayumi beat him to it. Ishimori has the boy in her hands, but she feels something is wrong and runs away as always. But this time it's for something important because she goes to find Serena to tell her that she likes Kai and can't help it. Ishimori finds her and tells her, and this makes the girl happy because she doesn't have to lie to herself. She also likes Kai, and they don't have to say they don't. Long live friendship. You know what's missing in this anime? That's right, the beach episode. Everyone from the class went, and the girls ask Ishimori about her swimsuit, but she says she doesn't have one. Besides, she wouldn't dare to wear one, but when she sees Kai, she thinks twice. When everyone is having fun, she realizes that the girls who wanted problems with Serena are there and aren't happy to see her, except for one of their boyfriends. Everyone worries about her, and Ishimori says she will protect her, but Kai tells them not to get involved. So, hearing that, Ishimori says she'll go for a walk. But Ayumi tells her she doesn't want anyone to get lost, so the girl says she'll give her number. Everyone thought Ishimori didn't have a cell phone. And when they find out, all the girls ask for her number to send memes. On the other hand, some guys tell Kai that a girl saw him caressing Ishimori's face at the festival, but he tells them it's not true. The guys tell him he can't be her caretaker all the time, plus he has Serena. If he can't decide on one, then he should take care of both. Great, double prize. For her part, Ishimori is happy to have gone to the beach with the others because she hadn't done so since she was a child. She thought she would run away from those places all her life, but not anymore. Another test comes for the girl because the boys who used to bully her pass by her, but they walk right past. Ishimori remembers Kai's words and takes courage to confront them, or rather, to make peace with them. Despite this, these guys don't want to pay attention to her, but our girl won't stop and asks them how they're doing. One of the girls tells her that she left school because of her, because she couldn't stand seeing her. Girl, go to hell. Then the two boys who wanted to harm Ishimori at the beginning arrive. But now things seem calmer because Ishimori can handle the situation on her own without anyone's help. Kai notices this and, taking advantage of Serena being there, asks her to talk, and before leaving, Ishimori sees them. The two talk and Serena tells him that she is still in love with him, but understands that now there is another girl in his life and that's okay, but she wants to know if he really liked her. Kai tells her that he did like her a lot, but when she told him that she needed him, but he didn't need her, he understood that he should step away. Serena understands and thanks him for being so honest. The girl leaves and Kai shows that he really cared for her by almost crying. Now Serena feels happy and liberated because she can finally turn the page and continue with her life. The rumor quickly spreads that Kai rejected Serena, and the one who can't believe it is Ishimori. She asks Kai why he did it, and he responds that you can't force things when you know how you feel. Serena says something very true. When she was with Kai, she became weaker, but Ishimori is the opposite. She becomes stronger every day. That's why she sends a message to the protagonist telling her that she should tell Kai her feelings. Days pass and Serena encourages Ishimori every day about Kai and asks if she already has the blonde's number. But the protagonist tells her that she has to ask him in person, but doesn't know how to do it because she hasn't seen him. Later, to calm her mind, the girl decides to go to the library, but doesn't realize that Kai was there showing off his handsomeness. When the boy sees her, he leaves everything he has and looks for her in the library. When he finds her, he tells her to go eat something, and this clearly makes Ishimori very nervous. Kai asks her what she was doing with the boys who bully her, and Ishimori tells him she just wanted to know how they were and that she was surprised when one of the girls told her she was no longer studying. Kai tells her he already knew, but he's glad she didn't, because it means that Ishimori no longer cared about those who bullied her because she didn't want to know more about them. Ishimori tells him it's true, she didn't care about them or pay attention to them because all her attention was on him. Our girl finally has game. Kai likes hearing this, but one of his friends comes to tell him they have to go. When Ishimori realizes she won't see him for quite some time, she remembers she needs to ask for his number. When she goes out, she finds him with his friends and a girl, but that doesn't matter to her, and she shouts that she wants his number. This makes Kai happy, and he tells her he was waiting for her to ask him. Kai tells her to write to him often and not to delay, and if something bad happens to her or she has an emergency, she should call him because he will come running. When the day ends, Ishimori arrives home very happy, and her father notices this. He tells her he's happy to see her happier each day and with more friends. Ishimori loves her parents, but she also knows they have been overprotecting her all her life. They never really let her do anything because they're afraid she'll get hurt, and that has affected her life. But now that she's in class, that will change, or well, more or less, because Ishimori knows she needs to leave her parents' wings to move forward. And now for the first time, she goes with the others to karaoke. At the place, she realizes that Kai is quite sleepy, and the boy tells her it's because he was thinking about her all night, but then he says it's a joke. There are also girls from the high school that Ishimori will attend. Everyone tells her that school is good for her because the smartest people go to that school. Ishimori remembers when her dad realized she left the exam blank and would have to go to another high school. Speaking of the old man, he is right outside the karaoke place, and when he sees his daughter's friends, he says they are noisy kids who don't look like they have a future, but he's surprised to find that his daughter is with them. When the two see each other, they don't say anything, and Ishimori doesn't know if she betrayed her parents. But she remembers all the good things that have happened to her, all because she made her own decisions. When her dad gets home, she tells him she went to karaoke with her friends. But instead of being happy, her dad tells her he thought she was friends with decent kids, not like the animals he saw. She doesn't belong to that high school, so they'll change her so she can have a good future. And things happen quickly because Ishimori's dad goes to the school to request Ishimori's enrollment papers. He also says her classmates were bullying her and calling her insults like stone face, furry, and those things. Everyone knows that's a lie. Everyone loves Ishimori and doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. Since they can't sit with their arms crossed, they manage to talk to Ishimori's dad and tell him they never bothered Ishimori. That was when she was in middle school. But the man tells them that's a lie because his daughter told them she had many friends and always came back with a smile. He doesn't want his daughter to be with people like them. Before leaving, the father meets Kai, and the man tells him not to talk to his daughter. She doesn't need him, not someone like him. Our girl is devastated and even dreams how her friends don't recognize her when she changes schools. When she wakes up, Ayumi calls to ask her if she's really changing schools. All of Ishimori's friends tell her to tell her dad everything she feels, and the guy arrives just in time for that. He takes away her cell phone, and Ishimori tells him that she doesn't want to change schools. For her, her friends and all the things she has done while with them have been the best of her life, and she won't let him take them away. Her dad tells her it's okay if she does what she wants, and if she wants to disappoint him, that's fine. In her solitude, Ishimori wonders what she should do, what she should protect. Who arrives to help her make a decision? It's Kai. The boy climbs through her window and talks to her. He tells her that she doesn't have to choose between her classmates or her father because both are right. Her father loves her and her classmates care for her, they're both correct. Besides, her father believes they bully her and she needs to tell him the truth. That way, she'll save the two things that matter most to her. Ishimori thanks him for saving her again, and somehow the boy jumps from a second floor like it's nothing. The next morning, Ishimori looks for her father to tell him the truth, and she won't do it alone because all her friends will support her. Kai goes for the boys who bullied her, and the girls go for Ishimori's mother. Finally, when they find her father, she confesses that she was always bullied at her previous school. She didn't tell them because she didn't want them to feel bad. Ishimori's father can't believe it and feels terrible because his daughter suffered without him knowing. He couldn't do anything. The girl who bullied her the most arrives and tells Ishimori's father that she always bullied her and she never defended herself. But since she has her new friends, that changed, and now Ishimori is a different girl with a lot of courage. Ishimori tells her father that on Monday she'll return to her school with her friends, and her father tells her she doesn't need to apologize, he's the one who should do it. When he does, all of Ishimori's friends introduce themselves to him, including Kai. And well, what can I tell you, this scene made me cry. On Monday, Ishimori arrives before everyone else and puts a PNG of flowers on the table. Her classmates don't take long to arrive, and she doesn't know how to thank them for what they did for her. But they tell her she doesn't have to say anything, they're friends, and that's what friends do. Just having her with them is more than enough. Now the classroom starts from scratch, and the teacher changes their seats again. Ishimori ends up far from Kai and has to watch how other girls are close to him. When it's time to go home, she finds Kai sleeping in the classroom. She watches him sleep and just thinks about how handsome he is. At that moment, the boy wakes up worried and asks what time it is, and she tells him it's 4 in the afternoon. Kai tells her the guys will go to karaoke and they wanted him to bring Ishimori. He thanks her for waking him up. He fell asleep because he hasn't been going to rest at the storage room. Since Ishimori knows she should get closer to him at all costs, she tells him she also wants to go with him to the storage room. She won't make any noise so he doesn't have to worry. Kai responds that it's not a big deal, they can both rest there. When they arrive at the karaoke, they meet the bad guys, but Ishimori approaches the girl to thank her for what she did. The truth is that the girl isn't sorry at all for what she did to Ishimori and hates seeing her new friends, especially Kai, who at night is only with bad company and doesn't tell the others what he does. Everyone thinks about what the girl said, and before leaving, the girl tells Tomoya that he's the worst of all, but the boy tells her to go to hell. For her part, Ishimori realizes that she doesn't know anything about Kai's life. She only knows the Kai who goes to high school with her, but outside of that, he's a stranger. To be able to talk to him, she goes to look for him at the storage room. But when she arrives, it's closed, and the teacher tells her they closed it because Kai told him someone was sneaking in. Everything gets weirder when the boy misses classes, and no one really knows why, not even his closest friends. When Ishimori asks him why he told the teacher about the storage room, Kai replies that it was on a mere whim. Besides, the place was already old. All this makes Ishimori wonder if the boy is actually pushing her away from him. The others don't think he's acting strange, they always see him with the same expressionless look all the time. But Ishimori has seen another side of him, because she has seen him laugh, be serious, worried. That's why she goes to him and tells him in person that she wants to know more about him, but again he runs away. What world were those wretched girls talking about? Well, it turns out that Kai stays up all night working at a karaoke place. Since the girls are in love with him, they always come back. But Ishimori follows him and manages to find where he is. But the other guys at the place think she's a Kai stalker, and they better take her away. But before anything bad happens, Kai arrives and sorts things out, and the two of them run away. Kai tells her that he wants her to stay away from him because he will end up hurting her. Ishimori doesn't believe that's true because he is good, kind, loving, always very hard on himself, but she wants to enter his heart no matter what. She will never leave him alone. The next day, the other guys ask him if he's working, and he tells them yes, but he'll tell them everything later. Now, what's important to Kai is to spend more time with Ishimori. The two of them go up to the rooftop, and this time they look more united than ever. But whether they stay together, we'll find out in the next part. Why? Well, because there are no new episodes and I don't plan to read the manga. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, that would help me a lot. My name is Alex and I wish you a great day. God bless you. Bye bye.